So the way today's gonna work, I have a lot of tips that I want to share. Some of you have sat through like an beginner session of Canva that I've done before. Some of you are new to it. It's okay if you're new to it. I'm gonna, for those that have never done anything on Canva, I'm gonna start by just like making sure that you have the right account and show you how to create a design. Today, though, I actually have a template for you so that all these things that I'm gonna show you, these tips and stuff, you can try out on your own. Okay, so I will share that with you in just a second. I do want to mention if any of you are coming to Ignite, do not come to my Canva session at Ignite because it's going to be the exact same thing. So find another session because you guys are already attending this one, which is awesome. We're glad that you're here. All right, so let me pop out of my slideshow first. If you read my email yesterday, which I'm assuming many of you did, you already know that to get a free education account, you're going to go to canva.com/education. When you go there, there will be a purple Get Verified button. So you can just click that and then you'll sign in with your TSC Google account, and that's gonna make sure that you have that teacher account in Canva. So that's like the first step to get started. I do want to also mention that we are able to give students access to Canva accounts. I want to make sure I don't forget to mention that because I could see me going through the entire session and never saying that once. So I'm going to tell you that right now, even though we're really not going to be talking about students yet. So in the bottom left corner here, we have invite members. That's where I would invite students to Canva so that they have access to all the things I have access to. The thing with that is, let me get rid of my magnifier. With that, it's going to give them that same pro access that you would have. So a student could create a Canva account on their own, but they're going to have that free access. If you want them to have pro access, that's how you would give it to them, as that invite members. So let me get my template to you. So as I mentioned, I created this template today. You're welcome to follow along on the template. So you're going to actually try some things out in your Canva account. If you'd rather just watch and take some things in, at least make sure that you click on that link or save that link so that you can try some of these things out later. I did put everything in steps on this, but this is the way that I would share things with students. So I know we're kind of going backwards and I'm telling you how to invite students and how to share things, and we haven't even made anything yet, but this is how I would actually share things with students. So I create this slideshow. I'll give you a little quick preview. So here's all my slides, kind of like I would have in Google Slides. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to click share up here in the top right-hand corner. And then underneath that, all the way at the bottom, I have more. And then one of my options, you can probably see here, it actually has a live button on it already, but this is a template link. Template link is what we're looking for. Let me zoom in a little more. Template link. And that's going to give like that make a copy that we're used to in Google. So I click on my template link. I click copy, and for you guys, I'm going to send it in our chat. So go ahead and click on that in the Zoom chat, and that's going to give you the link to today's resources. So I'll give you just a minute to click on that. If it's not working for you, please let me know. I have no way of knowing if people are using that template link. So make sure that you let me know if you can't get to something. Send it one more time. When you click on that link, you'll get to a page that looks like this. And then you're just going to say, use template for new design. And then it should make a copy for you. So as I mentioned, I'm going to go through a bunch of Canva tips today. For those of you that have never used Canva before or you're not a regular user, let's do a little tour first because we're going to be going into various places. So this is your Canva editor. On the main part of your screen here, you're going to see what your slide will actually look like. In the top right of your slide, there are some icons where you can move the slide around, you can duplicate it, delete it, add a new slide, all of those things. So here's our slide here. When I am editing something, I'm going to just click on it. And when it has that purple box around it, that means that I'm actually editing that item. So make sure that you're clicking on items that you would like to edit. Over on the left-hand side, I have several different options here. I'm on my color palettes, including templates, which we'll get to in just a second, elements, text. We won't talk about brand too much, uploads, drawing, which kind of turns it into a digital whiteboard, projects, apps, and a ton of other things. So there's a lot in here that we're able to do with Canva. We're going to talk about both teacher and student options in here. And I may give some examples of how I might use it as a teacher or how I might give it to students. But we're just going to dive into these tips right now. So let's get started. So tip number one, and you have these slides, so you can, again, follow along on your slides, or you could just watch me do it too. That's fine. Tip number one is editing pictures. So imagine that you've maybe taken some pictures in your classroom, or the students have taken pictures and they've uploaded those to Canva. So first tip is really that we can upload any pictures. I can upload them from my computer. If I just click on uploads, then I'm gonna upload my files here. I can also download, there's a Canva app on the phone or on my phone that is amazing, especially if I'm taking pictures. So imagine I'm taking pictures of students throughout the day. I can just upload them directly to the Canva app and then use them in a design. The reason I mention that is because if I'm taking pictures of students that might not be able to be on social media, but we know we're going to share it on social media, I can upload that picture and then just throw a smiley face over any of those kids' faces that aren't able to be on publications or social media. So if you're somebody that puts out pictures or does your school newsletter, this is a great tip for you. But this is not actually the first Canva tip. So our first Canva tip is to edit the picture. So we have a nice little picture here of a boy. This was just a stock image that I grabbed. We're going to click on that picture. So remember, click on your picture so that you've got your purple outline around your picture. And then I'm going to click edit image. And I actually have edit photo here. It should say edit image. Edit image. And then on the left-hand side, I have a ton of options that show up. The one that we're going to work with today is called Magic Edit. Magic Edit. It's the one where they take, it looks like maybe baby's breath or daisies, and they change it to a rose. So we're looking for Magic Edit. And then you'll see I have this little circle now on my image. And if I take that circle, I'm actually going to make mine a little smaller. What I want to do is I want to highlight this basketball that he is holding. So I'm just drawing on my image. I'm highlighting over that basketball that this boy is holding. So once I highlight that basketball, now I'm going to go back to the left-hand side and I'm going to say a black and white soccer ball. So I'm just saying change this part of my image to a black and white soccer ball. This is where I cross my fingers and I say, man, I really hope it comes up with a good soccer ball, or this is going to look ridiculous. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. This one's not terrible. It took the orange from the basketball. Same thing with this one. This one's a little strange, but it changed my image, and I clicked done. Now you'd never know that that kid was holding a basketball. Now they're holding a soccer ball. It is a very large soccer ball though. So with Magic Edit, we're able to take things from a picture and change them. So we're not removing them, that's something different. We're changing them. So imagine I have students doing reports on dinosaurs, and I want to take a picture of the student like next to something, and I want that something to be a dinosaur. I can actually use my Magic Edit to erase whatever they're standing next to and change it to be a dinosaur. And so then that's part of their report. It's a really nice, easy way to edit some pictures. Okay, Canva tip number 2 is also on our photo editor. So I'm going to click on my little girl here, and of course it says edit photo again. So I'm going to click on this girl, and what I want is I actually just want her. I don't want all this stuff in the background. So I'll click edit image, and in the top left, I'm looking for BG remover. BG remover. So I click on that, and then it removes the background. So imagine like, I remember a few years ago, everybody wanted a green screen so they would be able to like edit videos and images and all of that stuff. We don't need green screens anymore. Canva has the capability of removing backgrounds on photos and videos. So it can do it on a video too. So again, let's go back to our dinosaur example. So the students are doing a report on a dinosaur. Maybe we've taken videos, they've taken a video of themselves talking about dinosaurs, and I want to put them in a place that looks Jurassic, right? So for her, maybe I'll put her on a basketball court, but I want it to be like fancier than the gym court that she was on before. So I just keep her there, and then I'm going to resize this and maybe toss it behind her. So there we go. So now she's on like maybe a more professional basketball court. I could do that with like if I take team pictures, I can throw them onto a real football field or something else. So we're able to edit the background out of images and then take those images and put them where the students actually want to be. Okay, first 2 tips, again, in the chat, I want you to give me either a thumbs up or a message on whether or not you knew those 2 things existed. So did you learn something or did you already know that? So either learned something or I already knew that. Awesome. Glad some of you learned something. Great. So those 2 options for editing photos are fantastic. Whether they're our photos or they're somebody else's, we're able to edit those things. A few other photo editing options in here. Magic Eraser is similar to Magic Edit, but it just removes things from the picture while keeping the picture in place. So I always give the example of I'm standing in front of the castle at Magic Kingdom, but there's like a couple people in the background or maybe like a trash can or something that I want to remove. I can actually use Magic Eraser to remove those things so that people think I was the only one there. And then a few other options down further down to the bottom, we have blur. The only reason I want to talk about that one is again for if I want to blur out a student's face. So I like doing stickers because that's very easy, but I could also blur out a student's face if I need to remove them from a group picture. Okay, let's go to Canva tip number 3. So Canva tip number 3 is talking a little bit about templates. We're going to talk more about templates later, but this one kind of gets us started. So this beautiful slide that I created, I did not have the idea for this slide. I got it from a template. So we are going to scroll down to this blank slide that we have here, if you're following along on your slideshow. The blank slide that we have, and in the top left corner, you're going to see a little square and the word design. So you're looking for the little square and the word design. And in this area, we're going to see, because this one happens to be a presentation that was like a class agenda presentation. So you're going to see daily agendas, class agendas. So several different options in here. So what I'd like for you to do is just pick one of the options. It kind of makes a difference which one you pick, but I'll show you how you can tell the difference. Let me just pick one of these, maybe this one. Nope, not that one. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna actually pick two designs in here because I want to show you the difference between the two and how I know if I picked a good design or if I picked a bad design. That's actually another good one. Back to this one. Okay, so obviously these designs are both good. I can do plenty of things with them, do whatever I want with it. But in this example, we're looking for something really specific. So when you select your design, there's a lot of elements all over the page. So you can see here I have like all these little scribbles, okay? If I select one of the scribbles, like this purple one here, and I go up to the top, let me move this guy. I go up to the top, I see this purple circle there. That purple circle lets me change the color of the purple coloring on my page. Okay, easy enough. If I scroll down to my other example, and I've got these pencils here, if I click on the pencils, I don't have a little circle, which means that I cannot change the color of those pencils. I can change the color of the scribbles because I see the little circle, cannot change the color of the pencils. So that's how I know that it's either a design that I want to use because it is gonna, it's going to allow me to change the colors, or a design I don't want to use. Okay, so I'm gonna stick with this design here. So I've got all these beautiful colors, but maybe I want to choose like a different set of colors. Like these are fine, but I want something a little fresher, or I want like specific colors, something like that. So back up in my design area where we chose our template, along the top here, you should see templates, layouts, and styles. We are looking for styles. We have two types of styles. The first one is a combination. That's color and text. So you don't have to think about pairing the fonts together and stuff. You can just click on one of the combinations and it's going to switch your template to match what you've picked. Well, maybe I don't want that. I don't really want my fonts to change because I like the fonts, but I don't like the colors. So I said there were two types of styles, combination style and a color palette style. So now I'm going to just click a color palette style and you'll see it's going through and it's changing some of those elements to match this color palette that I like. So I am a very color forward visual person. But what I would say is don't spend too much time on your colors until you're all the way done. I create everything and then I switch my colors because at the bottom of this menu here, I have this purple button that says apply to all pages. So I could actually take this color palette and apply it to every single page that I've created all at once. and then I can keep switching things around and all of that. But that makes it just easier because it'll just apply it like in one fell swoop. Okay, in our chat, let me know if you learned something or if you already knew this. Awesome. Okay, so I'm getting like 50-50. I'm hoping at one point you're all gonna be like, nobody knew that, but we'll see. Okay, let's move on to Canva. Tip number 4. I think I would say probably most of you know this one because I know that I've shared it before, but I still think it's a good one to remember, especially if we're thinking about like getting things ready for back to school, or if anybody's in charge of like a club and you put sign up sheets out or anything like that. QR codes. We're still using a lot of QR codes in places, especially if you're somebody that like maybe you're the integrate champion. And so like you're creating little posters, things for people to sign up, and you just want like a simple QR code. I used to use extensions or other websites to create my QR codes. I would always like just Google QR code generator, like just something simple. But then inevitably I would end up putting it in a Canva design because I want it to be on like a nice cute poster. So if I want to create a QR code, I can actually do that right in Canva. So I'm going to go to apps, and I'd like for you to go to apps. So over on the left-hand side, it's the waffle looking one. And there are a ton of apps in here. I will give you that disclaimer. We're not going to go through all of these. The other disclaimer is that some of those apps are paid. So just keep that in mind as you're exploring this area. So at the top, we are going to search for QR code. You're going to see several options for QR code generators. There's a lot of them. We're using this simple black and white QR code one right here. So the simple black and white QR code one. And then I'm going to type in my website, whatever it happens to be. I'm just going to do the TSC website because that one's easy. And then I just drop that into my design. So then you can test out your QR code by scanning it with your phone if you'd like. The other thing I like to do with this is almost like an inception kind of thing. So I create a Canva design, and then I create a QR code that goes to that Canva design. So maybe it's like a digital version of the poster or something like that. So imagine, so I already mentioned teacher examples for this, right? Let's talk about student examples for this. Students create a really nice, super colorful poster, video, presentation, and you want to share them maybe with parents, or you want to post them up in the school, but you don't want to print out everybody's everything, right? So you can actually have students create a QR code to that design so that when people scan it, they'll be able to actually see that design. So super easy. I don't need any other apps, no other extensions. I'm just going to create that QR code right from here. The only customizing that I can do with this one is the background color and the foreground color. That's it. I like it nice and simple. Let me know in the chat if you learned something new for this one. Or also, do you guys still use QR codes? I do, but I'm creating things where people are signing up for stuff. So QR codes are prevalent in my life. I am going to give a disclaimer with QR codes though. I use them, but I don't overuse them. So if I'm going to be sending people an email, I don't put a QR code in the email because if they're checking it on their phone, how are they supposed to scan it? I'm just going to put a link in there. The only time I'm really using the QR codes is when I'm printing something out or posting something. That's when that QR code is really helpful. Okay, Canva tip number 5. This one's just kind of fun, and I'm gonna say it's definitely more fun than it is practical, but we like to have fun. It's Wednesday morning, why not? So Canva tip number 5 is creating custom animations. So we're gonna actually get into our elements now. So over on your left-hand side, you are looking for elements. We're going to see a heart, triangle, square, and circle. Heart, triangle, square, and circle. And then we're able to search in our elements. And I would like for you to search for a carousel horse. Carousel horse. So, few things in this. When I search for things in Canva elements, I get a bunch of different categories. So the first category here are graphics. So those are clip art, right? We all remember clip art. That's going to be my clip art options. We'll go into that in just a second. Next option I have here are photos. So these are going to be real pictures of items. Next, we've got videos, and if I hover over any of my videos, they actually play, so I can get a little preview of it. And then last, I have audio. If I'm creating maybe a slideshow of pictures, audio is amazing. So it's actually just background music for any of your slideshows, videos, all of that stuff. So if you're thinking about like having students create a project or create a presentation, they don't have to illegally download music from wherever. They can actually just add music directly from Canva. If you've watched any of the staff recognition stuff over the years, over the last couple years, I do that in there. So I find some peppy music and add it into my introduction. But we are going to go to graphics today, and we're going to click see all. So we have a ton of options for graphics. We are looking for something very specific. I want you to look for a horse that's like on the pole, ready to go on the carousel. But I want to show you a few things in elements before we actually do our custom animation. So I already showed you when you search for something, you get a whole bunch of results in there. If I select one of the results, I actually get something, most of the time I get this, something called magic recommendations. That says, hey, I saw that you liked this horse. Maybe you would like these other elements that match that. Sometimes it's the exact match, like it's a collection or something. Other times it's like similar options, but not exactly what you're looking for. So those magic recommendations are just a helpful way to continue your search and get exactly what you want. The other thing I can do at the top here is I can actually narrow down my search results by clicking this little fine tune there. If I click that, I can narrow it down by color. I can narrow it down by orientation. I can even say I want this to be animated or static. So I'm able to select different types of options in my elements so that I can get exactly what I want. When I select this horse, remember those colored dots that we had at the top? I do not have the colored dots on this horse because I can't change the colors of it. If I select a different one, probably, nope, not that one. This one? Nope, definitely this one. Yes. So if I select a different horse, I get that colored dot and I'm able to change the color of it. But that's not going to show up on every one, right? It just depends on the type of element that you chose. All right, so we have our carousel horse here. I'm going to make mine a little smaller, and I'm going to bring him over to the left-hand side of my slide. At the top, we've already seen the option to edit the image. But if I go down just a little bit, probably to the middle there, I also have an option to animate this. So these are like transitions, like slide transitions would be, where I can just like have it show up. I can have it fade in. It can pop up, right? Anything like that. So I've got a few different options for just like basic, how is it going to enter the page? But at the top here, I have something called a custom animation. So if I click on create an animation, I'm going to hold down my mouse. So I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag the horse in the direction that I want it to go. So now my horse is jumping off the page. Once I get that custom animation, I can say that I want it to be smooth. Maybe I want it to go very fast. Do I want it to appear on the click? So not right away. So if I'm presenting, I talk about the horse. Now you see the horse and the horse moves. So we have a few different options for those custom animations, but it helps us create something that's very specific that we want to do with an element. Think about maybe you're talking to students about like digesting food. So you want to show the food going into the mouth and then traveling down through into the stomach. Something along those lines. Or a student, they've got a basketball and they shoot the basketball and it goes into the hoop and makes a basket. So those are custom animations, and that's found in our animations area here. Did anyone learn something, or did you already know that? Okay, my goal today was to get Mr. Tilly to learn something, so goal accomplished. Awesome. Okay, so Canva tip number 6. I love this one. You'll know that I love this one because you'll look at things that I have and you'll be like, oh, we've seen that before. Websites in Canva. So I know like several years ago, we talked about Adobe Spark and they had some website type options in there. Canva has the same thing and it's all these beautiful Canva elements, but in a website. So yes, you as the teacher could do this. You could almost use it for like your newsletter or something like that. Or think about your students using it. So instead of giving them just the option of creating a slideshow, what if one of their options was to create a website on Canva also? So we're going to go back to our homepage in Canva. So if you're not on the homepage right now, open up a new tab. You don't want to lose that slideshow that we have. Open up a new tab and go to canva.com. And that's just going to get you onto this main page here. So we're going to start dabbling in some of the templates that are available in Canva. One thing that I will say is if you have used Canva in the past, but it's been a few years, you're going to notice that there are a lot more education options in here. It's still a marketing company, but they are catering more to education, which is awesome. So along the top here, we have a bunch of different icons, and we are looking for the last one that says websites. Once we click on websites, we are able to see some of the options for websites, and any of these are just going to create a blank website. So these are just going to be blank websites to start. If I scroll all the way down, I don't know what order yours are going to be in. Hopefully they're the same as my order, but you are looking for a category called education websites. You're looking for a category called education websites, and we're going to click on that name or click on see all. And now you're going to see a whole bunch of websites that have already been kind of created for you to then go in and edit. If you hover over a website, it's going to scroll through what the website looks like. it looks very similar to a slideshow. That's because you build it the exact same way. So I'm just going to go to this Earth's layers one. Let's say I happen to be talking about this in my class. Once I select one of these websites, I can do customize this template and it's going to make a copy for me. So similar to what we did when you guys made a template copy of mine. Okay, I want to show you some differences between a website and a slideshow. Website here, these pages or these slides, there's no separation between the two colors. If I go back to my slideshow, there's a separation here, right? There's clear like slide 1, slide 2. This is because their websites are like scrolling pages. So it's all going to be one big site, one scrolling site for us. This sample website then has a bunch of information here. I didn't put any of this information in. What if I was just talking about the Earth's layers? This is a great website and I can go ahead and I can customize this a little bit. I saw a couple spots where I could add some resources and all of those things. One website that will look familiar to you, let me go ahead and pull it up. We try to utilize websites when we're going to be creating a hub for a shorter amount of time. I'm going to find it at some point. So the summer website that we created for you all to sign up for the things that you're attending this summer was created using Canva. I should have already pulled it up. I might create too many things in Canva. There we go. Okay, this was the website that we created for this summer. So I created it exactly like I would create a slideshow. So you can see all my slides here. I've just got several different slides. And then when you all visited it, it looked like a website. So starting with that template, then it gives me the options to like publish the page and all of that stuff. It's not going to load right now, but that's okay. You've all seen it before. So I created these just like I would create slideshows. And then I can click publish website to actually publish it, get a URL to the site, and then share it with students. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bonus tip from our website one. Because this kind of blew my mind when I saw it. So I have been asked before where I created those images of the students. So our little AI students, where did I create those? There's a website called ideogram.ai. That's where I went. So I just said like, I think I said a little girl wearing glasses with wonder and excitement in her eyes, like a 3D clay kind of rendering of her. And I just kept doing it or generating it until I got exactly what I wanted. Once I created that one, then I was able to just change my prompt a little bit to get a different version of that type of student or that type of drawing in there. So ideogram is my bonus tip. I'll actually put that in there. Okay. Let me know in the chat if you learned something. So either ideogram or anything about websites in Canva. Awesome. Okay, Canva tip number 7. Canva tip number 7. I'm going to say this is mostly for you as the teacher. This is not really a student tip. This is for you as the teacher. I create a slideshow. Maybe it's like my back to school slideshow where like parents are coming in for open house and I just want like a little getting to know you slideshow. But I lost my clicker, that little clicker that has the USB thing. I don't know where it went. I've got the USB thing, but I don't have the clicker, or it's out of batteries or something like that. So I need a clicker, and the only thing that I have is my phone. What do I do? I'm going to present my slideshow in Canva. And then down at my bottom here, I know it's going to be very small and tiny for you guys to see, but down at the bottom, I have a few different options. So I can zoom in and zoom out. I'm going to show magic shortcuts in just a second. But what I'll do here is I'm going to click those 3 dots and I have this share remote control. When I click share remote control, I'm going to scan that QR code and then I will show you on my screen. It's really simple. I just have a forward and backward button. So if I tap on those, it actually changes on my screen. So I'm just tapping on my phone. So now I have a little clicker. So that's fantastic. The other thing that I love about this clicker is that it actually vibrates just a little bit when it actually moves the slide so that I know that I clicked on it, because I'm always like presenting, the slides are behind me and then I go, oh, did it change? Oh, did it change? So I'm looking back to see if it changed. So this is a quick remote control from your phone in a Canva slideshow. Super awesome. Okay. The next thing we have, and you've seen this if you've been to any of my sessions or if you got here a little early today, you saw my timer. So right under share remote control, I have show timer. So it's this little timer right here. I am able to move it around if I'd like to. I can move it somehow. Nope, maybe not. Maybe it's not going to let me. I've got this timer up here and I can actually add as many minutes as I want to it. Fun fact, Lori Vitale on our team, she just had her baby. We had a little baby shower for her yesterday and we had a picture slideshow that was just playing in the background and I didn't have any music going with it. So I'm not kidding. I put a 90-minute timer on there. I selected music and I just selected lo-fi, which is just like coffee shop. And I played the timer and we just had like nice soft background music going while everybody was kind of mingling at the shower. So same thing with when you guys were coming in today. I had soft background music going. Actually, I think it was a little louder. I think it was upbeat or energetic. So there's a few different options here. It could even be focused. So maybe you've given kids like 5 minutes to just work on their project or get caught up on things. And you don't want to forget at the end of the 5 minutes to stop them. So we're going to play some music. And then at the end of those 5 minutes, we're going to move on to the next task. So it's a really quick, easy way to add a timer in there. I can add more minutes. I can reset the timer and I can also minimize it to just get rid of it. Okay, so we did our remote control and we did our timer. The next one is magic shortcuts. This one is just, it's silly and it's just something like a little bonus for us. But magic shortcuts, we can actually see the list of magic shortcuts down here at the bottom. But what they are is they're letters, essentially. I'm actually going to take a quick screenshot of this so that I can remember all of my letters. Okay, so I am presenting my slideshow, and I want the students to focus on me. I don't want them to be really thinking about what's on the screen at the time. So if I click the letter B on my keyboard, or I tap the letter B on my keyboard, it will actually blur the slide for me. Click B again, and it will get rid of it. These magic shortcuts also show up on my phone. It's probably hard to see, but I can actually show on my phone and I'm able to click on those. So the next magic shortcut is Q for quiet. And I don't know if you guys heard it, but it shushed me. Let me know if you heard that it shushed me. Next one is O is bubbles. I love it. It's like the simple things in life. We're gonna do C for confetti. D for drum roll. U for curtain call. No. It will clap for me. And then M for mic drop. Okay, Susie, the magic shortcuts are at the bot, like when I'm actually presenting in Canva, at the bottom, there's a little keyboard and it shows you those magic shortcuts. Let me see if I can, I don't know if this will work. Oh, it does work. I just sent the screenshot of all the magic shortcuts in the chat. If you are presenting to adults ever also, like this is the way that like it's just funny, right? It's funny for us to see some of those things. You got to kind of remember that. But that's when like using my phone is really helpful because I can actually just do these things from my phone. I don't have to remember to or go even back to my keyboard and click on things. I'm just able to do it right from my phone. So it shows it on there. All right, so those are our magic shortcuts, our remote control, and our timers. The only thing that I can't do on my phone is I can't add a timer. I wish I could, but I cannot add the timer from my phone. Okay, did you learn something? Do we like the remote control option in here? Awesome. That's great. Okay, then next up we have Canva tip number 8. These are mock-ups. I kind of like this. I think that I probably would use it more than you guys would, but if you are working with student organizations and stuff, this is something I think that they could definitely use. What you will notice here is this beautiful picture that I made for you has random letters and they mean nothing. So this was actually created from ideogram. So there are just random letters on there. I think I told it to create a colorful school logo, but I didn't give it like a name for the school. So that's why the text means nothing. So it's not a foreign language. Can't, I mean, you can look it up, but it's not going to give you anything. It's just AI text in there. So we're going to click on our image so that we have it highlighted in purple. We are going to click edit image. So we were in this area in the beginning. And then if I scroll down in this, in my apps, I'll get my magnifier up so you can see this. In my apps here, I have something called mockups. Something called mockups, and that's what we're looking for. Mockups are going to take your design and put it on things. So let's say we want to sell shirts for our club and we'd like for people to see a mock-up of what the shirt might look like. So I select my image, select my mock-up. I can change like my alignment. Apply changes. So like right now the picture is kind of in the wrong spot. There we go. So now I've got this shirt. Well, maybe we don't want white shirts. Maybe we want blue shirts. So we're going to select that it's going to be a blue shirt and here's our logo on it. So mockups just take that image and put it onto a product. I'm going to show you one more. Let's say I want this graphic to be on a laptop. Beautiful. Love it. Okay, when do I use this? Well, as many of you know, I do a lot of stuff for TOA, our new online school. So I might take a screenshot of like a website, and I want the website to be on that laptop, but I don't just want it to be facing forward. I want it to kind of be off to the side. So it just like makes it a little easier for me to create graphics from my graphics. So that looks like it's actually part of the computer, versus it just being like my image that I've tried to make it look like it's part of the computer. So something fun there. Did anybody learn something new for this one? I'm assuming many of you did because you're probably not doing a lot of mock-ups, but again, something kind of fun, unique in there. All right, Canva tip number 9. I love this for both teachers and students. This is called quick flow. So I want you to go back to your elements, and we are going to choose one of the shapes. So you should see, if before you search for anything, you should see shapes. And I'm just going to select a square here. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller and move it over to the side. So I create this shape, and maybe my shape says step 1. Zoom in a little so you can see that. So I've got the shape and it says step 1. I'm going to tap on the 3 dots at the top of that shape. And if I go down to the bottom, I have enable quick flow. If anybody was in our Fig Jam session last week, this is very similar to some of those tools in Fig Jam. So I'm able to actually just click on the arrows to create almost like a planning or a mind map, something like that. So it's going to allow me to create those steps in there. And then I just click that quick flow to delete those steps. And now I can go through and actually write out, here's the things that I want to do. Well, what if it's like a timeline, right? It doesn't have to be steps. It could be part of a process, part of a timeline, something like that. And then if I take this and I move it, they stay connected. So inevitably in my world, I create something and then it ends up being too big. So I need to make it smaller, or I need to rearrange things. So if I create that timeline and it is needs to go in that order process, then this is very easy for me to rearrange those things and change like the size of it, anything like that. If I want to add more to it, I'm able to do that as well. So I can add an additional step in there. All right, that's our second to last tip. Did anybody learn something there? Awesome. Okay, my last tip, and the reason I made this my last tip is because I will probably lose some of you, and I'm going to give you a I'm gonna just give you a little disclaimer here. These are cute things. So if you're like, you wouldn't describe yourself as somebody that likes cute things, this may not be for you, but that's okay. You might find other designers in here that you like. But I wanted to give you 2 of my favorite creators on Canva. How did I find these creators? I will say that I found them on Instagram. So I have started to follow some people that use Canva and give tips out for some design things. And I found both of these people on Instagram. So the first one is Cheat. Teach Cheat. She has several worksheets, banners. Where in the world do I come from? There's a lot of different things in here. If you like to decorate your classroom, before you go purchase anything on Teachers Pay Teachers or from the store or anything like that, look on Canva, because I bet they have something that's similar to what you want and it's free, which is amazing. So there's a lot of different things in here for us to choose from. The other link goes to somebody called Made by May. And again, another worksheet one. So a lot of, now I could pull this up like on my board. I could print these things out. I could send them to students, right? Like this doesn't necessarily mean that I have to use these for a worksheet, but I have the option to use them for a worksheet. If I'm looking for templates on my main page on Canva, I'm able to search for those things here. If I want education templates, I can type in education. I can type in just the word worksheet and things are going to come up. So I'm always looking for like what else do we have as our option? Maybe I'm teaching something specific and I want to see like, has anybody created a worksheet for this? Let's see. World War One. I'm going to say World War One, and actually this has a bunch of different things in here. It's got templates, it has maps, it has social media posts. It looks like it's got a battleship kind of game. Like there's a lot of different things in here. So use this. Obviously with discretion, you want to go through and change some things if you want to, but there's a lot of cool things within Canva that you're able to just search for and see if you can find what you're looking for. So, all right, folks, that is the end of the presentation. For today, let me go back to my slides. Yes, for today, in my follow-up email, you will receive a link to how to get your PGPs so that you can grab those PGPs from the Learning Lab. So if you've not been to one of our summer sessions, you're going to go to the Indiana Learning Lab. I will send you a link to it. You're just going to mark anything complete that you've watched and done, which you have today with this Canva one. And then all of your PGPs will flow through the Learning Lab. So thank you guys so much for coming. I'm going to stay on though if you do have questions, like specific things that you